You made your bed. Now lie in it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lives on Reddit. Don't forget to subscribe to be a for lifer. Last week, I celebrated my last week at a job I hated. I only had one coworker there that I actually liked. He was also new and was in his 40s with a wife and kids. We hit it off pretty well and would get drinks after work, etc. But everything was very appropriate. Then he started getting braver and started telling me he found me very attractive, etc. That he and his wife were basically divorced and not speaking to each other, and he really wanted to see if things would work out with me. I told him I wasn't interested, and we didn't spend time together outside work until last week. When he invited me to his house, his wife and kids were gone. He said that he was having a few people from work over, the people on his team who I also quite like, and listen to this live stream of a concert. I wanted to say goodbye to everyone and celebrate my last week. We were work from home, so I hadn't seen anyone in person since March. So I said I'd come. Turns out he never did invite anyone else, and he tried to make a move on me. In the end, I left him literally naked in his backyard and grabbed my things and left. For a little context on this next part, I, 27 female, dated a guy from another country from the ages of 19 to 23. We broke things off when it became clear that our only two options were to remain in a long-distance relationship until further notice or get married, which we both agreed we were too young to do. I fast forward a few years and I'm living my best life in my home country, and a girl I later found out he cheated on me with sabotaged her birth control, and now he's a dad. Then, yesterday I'm in my apartment, minding my own business, watching the case against Adnan's side on HBO and making cupcakes when I hear a little ding. My ex's brother-in-law had messaged me on Facebook Messenger. I thought it was a little weird, but people are quarantined with not a lot to do, so I answered. We caught up, and it turns out that my ex's sister is about 8.5 months pregnant. I congratulated him, and he asked about how I was doing. I told him I had a boyfriend, he specifically asked, and that I was working, etc. He commenced to tell me that he wished he had met me before he met his currently pregnant wife, that he never would have let me go, and that my ex was an idiot. I said it was kind to say so, but everything worked out for the best. Then casually says that if I was ever interested in sending steamy texts to him, he would be a very willing participant. Like, what the frick? In the last 2 weeks, I basically had to beat a buried man off my leg with a stick. And now this mommy special friend from 5 years ago comes out of the woodwork to try to cheat on his pregnant wife. And to do so, he chooses to ask someone who was almost his sister-in-law, who also lives 3,000 miles away. Like, come on. Part of me wants to call his wife and be like, hey, your husband and soon-to-be baby daddy is a crap bag. Cut him loose. But I don't want to stress her out. Plus, these people have seen neither here nor hide of me in 5 years just for me to come in and drop a bomb in the middle of their lives. Listen to me closely, married men. You have made your beds. Whether or not there are more decorative pillows on them as of late is irrelevant. You still have to line them. Gotta love midlife crisis men thinking they can cheat with someone half their age. It's crazy how many of them think they're still hot stuff and definitely worth dealing with the demanding title of being the other woman. Not to mention the moral issue of being complicit in their cheating. Do they not realize that you can do so much better and likely have no shortage of guys who wouldn't come with all that baggage? Why the frick would you be interested in getting involved in that mess? Good on you for not taking their nonsense. I had a professor who tried this on me when I was 21. I met up with him for coffee as he was going to be my referee for a few job positions I was applying to for post-graduation. When I got there, he went on to tell me how I was the most beautiful student in his class and he couldn't keep his eyes off me. Then he went on to ask if I would be interested in going back to his car or hotel to do something crazy. He said that his wife and kids were driving him crazy and he needed something new, fresh, and revitalizing. May I add that he was also 50 plus years old, definitely not in his prime, and had a daughter close to my age. He wanted to take advantage of the fact that I was a poor student and essentially wanted to be my sugar daddy. Why the frick would I want to get myself involved in something like that? No thanks, you're not attractive or appealing in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not a homewrecker. I don't need money that bad. The audacity of some of these fricks. Once women are pregnant, many men don't waste effort or time on them anymore. they've served their purpose in their view, and so they happily move on to the next conquest. Agreed. I've had so many men with young kiddos hitting on me lately. It's disgusting. However, the few awesome men that are faithful really stand out, and it's heartwarming. I'll never forget what my dad said about women when I was 16. Once a woman has a baby, she's not a woman anymore. She's a mother, and there's nothing less sexy to most men than a mother. Mothers aren't for intimacy, they're for keeping a home and raising a family. He was big mad later when I told him I wasn't going to have children years later and asked why. He was even madder when I told him that he was a huge reason for my decision. A similar thing happened to me. I met a guy who said he was child-free and had 2 very good dates with him. On the second date, I asked his last name, which was very unique but had heard before. So I go on Facebook, look him up after I get home, and I found out he was married to a high school friend of mine. I immediately messaged her and told her what he was up to, and we met over our mutual child-free lifestyle. She thanked me profusely, and a few days later she asked me questions and I answered honestly. I don't know what happened after because it wasn't any of my business. The sad thing is, I feel like this is all too common. Wives get pregnant and are less attractive, so their crap husbands play around until the wife has gotten the body back, and justify by saying, oh, my wife is too busy taking care of the kids to pay attention to me. Get back in the freaking kitchen, cook your wife a nice meal, and appreciate that this person chose to carry a kid to full term and raise them with, more like for, you. Crap, dude. People with kids have way too complicated of lives. And the thing that really ticks me off is that I remember that she was on the fence about even wanting kids in the first place. But he was pressuring her 5 years ago, and they weren't even married yet. In my opinion, I think you should tell the wives. As someone who was cheated on by my partner for 3 years, and all the other women he was intimate with, without protection, knew about me and didn't tell me, I'd want to know instead of waste more time building a life with someone who doesn't respect me. Even though you didn't do anything physical, a guy like that is probably cheating with more women. If she doesn't believe you, and I don't see how she couldn't if you have screenshots, well, that's not your problem. You'll have done all you could. Some men are just really good at hiding a whole double life, and the wife may well be in shock or disbelief, but at least she'll have some reason for suspicion and catch him next time. I know you don't owe them anything, but I wish so badly someone had told me. I agree so much. Same problems, different gender. The act of cheating is horrid enough. The fact that these other men that I worked with had been intimate with my fiance, if you get a wedding invite involving a woman you didn't use protection with at any time in your life, let alone the past few months, you should tell the groom about it, you know? Then a couple of them tried to touch base after the breakup. She was gonna cheat with somebody. Complete pieces of crap mentally. Got knocked up when I was 19. My ex instantly turned into a douchebag when I was pregnant. Lucky thing I didn't marry him, so I'm not stuck with a butthead who 13 years later still begs me to take his sorry behind back. Men have this tendency to not be sympathetic to their pregnant partner. So, original poster, I applaud you for seeing through their bluffs and lies. Also, they often romanticize the idea of having kids, but don't often actively participate in raising them. Blame women for not looking after their partner, but my point is, are these men looking after their partner too? The partner that has to run around with his swimmers? My son is now 13, and I always tell people one is enough. If I could, none is better. But I love my son, that's all that matters. I provide for him, and at the age of 11, educate him about intimacy so he won't repeat my mistake. I'm still young in my early 30s, but to put me through having a kid again? No. I prefer my life now. My son is a great lad. We understand each other, and he once told me he would never want a sibling because he saw how difficult and different it was for me raising him as a single mom. I told him, think a million times before you have kids, if he ever wants one. And if he doesn't want any, it would be fine with me too. We are both solitary people. Married men with little sympathy, just like my ex, towards their pregnant partner, are the worst scum on earth. I'm sorry that happened to your original poster, but also glad you stood your ground. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't leave. Subscribe. Be a for lifer. Yeah.